I am so happy to talk to you guys. You guys did a great job making me torn between the two of you as your characters. It was so challenging to pick a favorite. At one point, I'm like, oh yeah, Team Ben. One point, I'm like, Team Paxton. And I need to know how much fun was the tension? Because I know you guys have a good relationship. How much fun was the tension on set in regards to your characters winning her heart?
It was so much fun because it all happens when we're not looking at each other. It all happens on coverage where it's right on my face, but he's not paying attention, or he's looking at me and I'm not paying attention. So we're really doing it behind each other's backs, on camera. And it's been the most fun.
Well, there is a lot going on this season. We really got to know Paxton and Ben's private lives last season outside of Davy, during and you guys established your characters and how your characters are and how they feel in their family life. With Ben with last year with his family, Paxton with his family and school this season. Like, how did you approach your characters this season, already knowing who your characters are, and what was important for your character to kind of showcase them being more than just a love interest?
It's about continuing to stay true to yourself. You've already kind of built up this character that you really know and that you've breathed in for a long period of time and that fans have really related to. So it's about not giving up some of those things that really made that character stand out. It's building upon them. And it's also recognizing that this character is growing like a person does in real life, and that they're going through different situations that require different emotions and vulnerability and different layers that you have to add on as an actor. And I think that our writing team, Mindy and Lang and the rest of the writers, did such an incredible job about giving both Darren and I and the rest of the characters in the cast so much to work with. I think they've put us all in uncomfortable situations that our characters have had to navigate through, and that I think that fans are going to absolutely revel in once they have the chance to see this next season.
Yeah, there's storylines that are happening this season for you guys, for both of you, that is outside of Baby. Like with Ben, you have this competition, and it's like affecting a relationship, like your relationships, and I don't want to spoil it. And then with Paxton, you have your schooling, and then also you're learning more about your family life. Like, what was that like? How important was it to showcase, like, again, your life outside of Davy, your characters?
It was so important and so much fun, especially with Paxton finally getting his own episode, as Ben did in his in season one. Because season one, I think everyone can attest that at the first glance, you kind of just want to punch Ben Gross in the face until you dive deeper in and see his home life and see that he's dealing with very real things as a human. And I think Paxton too, you're getting a lot way past the superficiality that, he's illustrated in. You're seeing a heart, you're seeing a working mind, you're seeing a home life, you're seeing struggles that everyone else deals with, but a lot of the times he doesn't wear on his sleeve because he is not really allowed to or expected to. So it's been very important and such a joy to do.
Yeah, and also Jaren, with your character, there's other things going on in the character's life too. Like, how important was it to showcase outside of Davy?
Yeah, I think that it shows that Ben has so much going on for him as well. He's his own independent person as well. I think that his scenes with Davy are tremendously important. I love those moments, especially getting to interact with Mike Trey, who plays Davy, because she does it so dang well. But Ben is going through an identity crisis himself. It may not be as visible necessarily because we do live in Davy's world, but I think that we can see that because of Ben's home life and because of some events that happen with Davy, Ben kind of has to figure out what to do next. And I think that he finds different ways to cope, and he finds different people to connect to that kind of help elevate him back to where he was and kind of grow his confidence, but also recognizing that he has to continue to deal with these feelings that he's been harboring for a long time towards Davy and towards other characters. And he has to kind of navigate through that. So I think that it's really interesting to see him grow that way.
Well, yeah. And another thing, I do love watching your characters, and I love your episodes, both of yours, like when you had your individual episodes too. And this is the last question. Like, when you guys are portraying in these roles, how do you guys approach, like, there's so much complexity towards your characters. And I really love that they do that for you guys. And it's so hard because this is Davy's story. Is there anything that you hope for, and it leaves us with that's no spoilers, but it leaves us guessing. And what do you hope to see for next season, if potentially next season, if there is one, hopefully. It's so good. What do you hope to see for your characters that goes beyond just being the love interest of David's story?
Yeah, I think in season 2 or season 3, potentially, you know, everyone is dealing with a lot of questions and uncertainties and new challenges. And it's been touched on in season 2 in a very great way and very, you know, adequately expressed. But I think there's so much more there to dive into and dig into and reveal as a human. There's so many more layers to each and every person to pull back. And there's also a lot in Ben and Paxton, I think, to find within themselves outside of just Davy. And that would be a lot of fun to explore.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I'm seriously, I'm torn between you two. But I'm rooting for both of you no matter what to be happy. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this. This is the hard